legal action there.
I was working on the trial for that already.
Yeah.
No one else wanted to do
But
it.
he's used to it.
Yeah, but
Ever since he moved down here about 2 years ago. Yeah. About
Yeah. No, nobody else get that put in the shed or.
so, but if they, you know, if they let us know, the Skiddy and I,
From 1945.
When you started, yeah?
Yes.
And what do you remember about that?
What do I remember about it? Most thing I remember about all the good-looking girls that were here. As a matter of fact, I married one. No, it's been a great.
Yeah, I'm Doug Faulkner. I joined Richmond in 1950 and been along the river virtually since then. Got transferred to Queensland, come back here in 1980 and went straight into Yarra. That's why I saw my old adversary in Old Bill. Yeah, it's a good club.
Ted Stewart, came here for the Olympics in '56, joined Yarra, and I've been here ever since.
What I remember could go on for bloody
Bob Man?
Of course, yes, Bob Man. And as for how many, what I remember about it, I could go on probably all afternoon and you won't want that. I joined the year that the King's Cup was in Bundaberg, which is somewhere about early 60s. Ask Ted Woolcock, I can never remember, but when I came down to join, the club was away at Bundaberg, or those members that we sort of know, I know, and we've got it sold out hardly. But that was my first day at Yarra. We didn't have the annex next door and everyone was terrified. Kerry would take us over if we built it. Well, what do you call this now? I'm not quite sure, but get a new club courtesy of Yarra. I said, I'm sitting there thinking, I've got $5, which is going to cost me the beer and the food after the annual meeting. And you had to put up, I think it was 15 or something, as a proper money for a legitimate proposition. And I was, you know, married, mortgage, no money. I had no money for a proposition. Phil Riggars tapped me on the shoulder. He said, "Get up, Bob, go on, go on." He's got no money, Phil. He said, "I saw it. He's whipped me $20 so I could put a proposition in." So we passed the motion a bit, ladies, and Adele's proposition, remember, was put in minutes after the motion was passed.
What's your name?
What is it you want?
Your name, how long you been here, and your memorable moment.
I'm Brian Nuttall and I joined in 2000. My memorable moment. I don't know, the moment that is most memorable that sticks in my mind is actually when Stuart Pritchell wore an apron like this without actually any clothes on behind, and we saw his bare backside running through the bar. It's probably the most memorable moment.
Jordan.
I'm not sure I can think of anything as memorable as that.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah. I've been here since 2005. Biggest memory, friendly club, great atmosphere, and a possum scaring the crap out of me in front of my locker, and everyone's thinking, why is she jumping around? Because they're afraid of a little fox. So
Yeah, that's right.
Gags. I joined the club in 1968. Remember the annual dinner where we dropped the barrel coming up the stairs? I'll tell you about that either. So, is that enough?
Jim Skidmore. Joined in something like 55 or 56, something like that. What I most remember, probably putting in the concrete floor downstairs and lifting the shed.
62. John Carroll, yeah?
18 months, cup season. Easter season, the Christmas season.
Oh, right. Okay.
Couple races in Ballarat.
Oh, Phil Reynolds. I've been rowing next door at Banks for about 21 years now.
And
not much besides that.
Okay.
Chris? Yeah, rowed during the early 70s, wasn't it, Ted?
Yes.
Early 70s. What do you want to know?
What are your memories? Favourable memories?
Rowed for about 10, 12 years here, I guess.
Yeah. Trevor?
Yes, I joined the club.
Trevor Lang, is it?
Yes, Trevor Lang. I joined the club in 1974.
Jeez, you remember that far back?
Yeah, that's when I come to Melbourne. So, it's easy. Transferred from Warrnambool and rode for a number of years with assistant secretary, and regatta secretary.
Very good.
Remember all the good friendships, all the good times.
Ted.
So how many years have you been here? Well,
Ted?
74, that's about...
Yeah, I came in 1960 something, I think. And, I would have been here for 15 years, 16 years, and then I had a couple of kids, and that was that. And this is the first time.
Yarra Yarra since
Gloria Gallagher.
I've been a member of Yarra Yarra since 1980, and I came to the club through my husband, Gags. Okay.
Oh, I don't want to say what year I bought
This is
first year I came.
Adele?
You were here in 1982.
Yeah, but I started in 1976.
Righto, well you started here in 1976.
I don't want to do this. I'm feeling old, Jack.
You were the first female member of Yarra Yarra.
That's right, your dad was just telling me.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready? My name's Adele Mann. I'm now Dale Peterson. I joined Yarra in 1976 as the first girl coxswain, and they went on to become the first girl member, along with Gloria on the night.
Okay, go.
Michael Grove. I joined the club in 1969, and it's been a ball the whole time.
James McCoy. I've been associated with Yarra since 1986. Yarra Yarra.
This is Stuart Mitchell.
Since 1989, and my most enduring memory of Yarra Yarra is rowing up here with Jack Chatziyakoumis.
I started Yarra Yarra at the end of '98, did beginners, raced novice, had some of the best fun I've ever had rowing here, and Yarra Yarra set me on where I am today.
Next, thank you.
Now I remember the good old days back in the mid-40s when I was joined with my brother Dick Matthews, who had a boat named after him at one stage, but they've probably rectified now.
I did tub rowing.
Neil?
I was on the floor with Jeff Harding, Harry Middleton, Stan Bulmer and John Budds.
Okay.
1946.
Very good. Can I have your name, please?
Margaret Matthews.
Oh, Margaret. I'll tell you, it's Linda Skinner.
That's like this handball person, Harvey.
That's your name and how long you've been associated with the rowing?
Yes, I've been associated here since 1966. 65, 66.
And any memorable
That's one memory. She was introduced to her husband here.
I met my husband at a rowing club dance.
Your name?
I'm Kathy. I suppose I've been around since I started winter sculling, and I kept falling in the river, and you guys had warm showers.
It's Ted Woolcock, and I've been with the club for 57 years.
Yeah. And any memorable moments?
Oh, there's been a lot of memorable moments, but I think the most important thing is the admission of women to the rowing club around about 1983. I think that was the biggest factor, change of scene within the club.
Okay, hi, I'm Jo. I've been at Yarra since April 2000, and my most memorable moment, I guess, is the last year when I was captain of the club.
Gail, too.
Hello, I'm only involved with Yarra in a...
Gail Chetzi?
Yes. I'm Gail Chatziyakoumis. I'm married to the famous Jack Chatziyakoumis of the Jack and Stewie pair, and that's my only true association with the club, except for giving birth to potential scullers.
William and Jessica?
This is William, I'm Jessica. He's probably the future rower.
Toby Finelli joined 1990. Best rowing moment, rowing behind Jack Chatz. with Ben Essendon race with Jack going nuts, rating about 45. Well, I think Jack was great a bit and getting nice trophies on the day.
Just come and, yeah, we've got a caravan.
Hi, my name's Jack Chatziyakoumis. I've been at Yarra Yarra for longer than I care to remember, probably about 15 years. Okay, see you, Linda.
I'll be back.
I started rowing here in 1989, got off the plane from England, came down here, spoke to Mike Hamilton and was racing within 3 days down at Carib in a novice 8. It was so awful I couldn't believe it, but somehow I managed to win. And I think that's about the only race I've ever won.
Drag, I've been with the club for 3 years.
Hi, I'm Lachlan McPherson. I'm Vice President of the Yarra Yarra Rowing Club, a position that I'm proud to hold. I've been rowing since 1971 when I started at Yarra Bay and won quite a lot of races down in Geelong, and then moved to Melbourne and eventually ended up at Yarra Yarra because all the nice people were at Yarra Yarra, like Ronnie Mitchell and Andy Curry and Jack Donald and Ted Woolcock and lots and lots of other very, very nice people. And memorable moment of rowing, coming second in lightweight fours against the Melbourne University group many years ago when I was a lightweight.
My name is Ava. I start my beginner class in April and now in development squad and I'm loving it. I love it.
My name's Bridget and I started rowing about 2 weeks ago.
My name is Sue. I started on the May Development Squad.
Thank you, Jack.
Hi, I'm Timmy. I've been rowing since 2005, so 2.5 months.
And your name, sir? Still got a name?
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie. I started here in '86 with Fiona Dixon. She's my sister, and my dad used to bring us down here when I was 14. And then I haven't rowed much since then, but Fee's still here.
Pete Willard started rowing 78, started coaching 88, started coaching out of here 89 at the Yarra Yarra Rowing Club. Been associated for a long time with a lot of different clubs, and yeah, having a fun time. Looking forward to taking down the wall.
Rebecca? No.
Rebecca George. I've been rowing in Yarra since 94. I've rowed much for the last 12 years, mostly recently Foreland Road, Masters and Fiona Dixon.
Doesn't have to be reasonable.
Fiona, I think I might have started here in '86 with the Atlanta Jones and have more recently rowed with Rebecca George, which has been fantastic. Erstwhile Treasure, which has been a bit of a horror. And my most memorable moment is falling in twice, once thanks to Chris Wade not rigging our boat properly.
Brief enough? Hi, I'm Mike Hamilton. I got involved with Yarra in 1987 and I had a great time. It's a wonderful club.
I'm Rob Jones. I became involved in Yarra in 1963 and I've had a great time here too.
Hi, I'm Philippa Devine. I started in '89 and Rob was my coach and Mike was my captain.
Thank you.
Jim. Yeah, good day. My name's Paul Skipper, or I was a member here from about 1987 to about 1995, 96. Had a great time, rowed with some fantastic people, and very emotional, and I think it's very sad today that the club's going to finish up.
Can't wait to get out.
Hello, Jack Chatziyakoumis. I found my name signed in an entry book in 1981 or 82. Having a lot of fun here, keeping very fit. Thank you very much.
You've got to mention your other wife. Stewie.
Actually, I probably have two.
Melanie, is it?
Yeah, Melanie. I've been at the club for 2 or 3 years now. Yeah.
Andrew Bray, been at the club for about 8 years now, and most
most memorable moment would probably be knocking off Melbourne University with Jack Chatziyakoumis, Stewie Critchell and Brian Noel at a 4 at Mildura.
Bruce?
I'm Bruce Riggets, and I'm the president of Yarra Yarra Rowing Club, and I joined when I was 12 years old back in the 70s. And my most favourite moment was getting told to go and get stuffed.
Mitch, Ron Mitchell, been here since 1950, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And the highlight of this, there's been 4 boats named the Ron Mitchell, and that's bloody great.
Sally Shaw has been at the club since '98, and favourite moment, I don't know, I'm sure someone's done something stupid and fallen in the river that was kind of funny, but that's about it.
Peter Gill, I joined in 1954 as a boy from school. I rowed for a few years after that. Probably the highlights of my rowing were winning at Hidley, I think in 1958, and then the state lightweight championship in Victoria in the same year.
Thank you.
And
the possums have lived in the room for many generations.
They have, and I believe that before the building is demolished, the possums should be removed from the roof. You can leave the remnants of what they've left, but take the possums out first. And as you can see, they still exist.
This one right there. I think they're alive, aren't they?
Yeah, they're alive. Yeah.
Okay, well shoot them out with a stick then. You know what?
No, they're still alive up there. There's families of them. Murderers, we're just murderers.
Okay, how's about we don't just kill them all, we just kill the firstborn sons. Firstborn males possum of each.
I just go with the wind. Go.
My name's Stephen Masick. I've been rowing down at Yarra since 2001, and my most memorable moment is being sitting in an 8, the Yarra 8 behind Stewie Critchell, just admiring the size of his puddles.
Stewie comes up a lot in these videos.
Carry on here. Got a couple of the old boys here to give a bit of a spiel to you about the early days of Yarra Yarra in the shed. Probably a lot of you have heard a bit of it before in the past, but it's, like I said before, it's good to see you all here again. And I'll see if there's Ted around. Ted's over there. If I can get Ted to stand on the table.
Bruce, we wanted to see him when we open the new shed, everybody.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I've been around for quite a while here, but we've got a couple of others that passed me, Billy Burton and Stan Bulmer. They have been around a few years before me. But anyhow, it's been a terrific 50 odd years, nearly 60 years. And we've had a tremendous bunch of people go through. Probably the most notable thing that happened to this club was the admittance of women into the club. Yay! Hooray, Riddell! Around about 1983, in the early 80s.
Oh, the enlightened you.
And we had Jack Donald, who was president. He was most adamant, along with a couple of others, about admitting women, against admitting women, but he was the first one to move in and put in facilities to make the place habitable, so to speak, for the ladies. Harmony that's gone on, that's made a tremendous thing. We used to have the old dances here, each monthly dances. They were made, the old shed in those days, we've got supports up here. They said it'd fall down if we didn't put supports in. Because they'd been here in the 50s, the place was rocking then. Never heard so much time, and as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, we used to have the blind band. They never cost much money in payment for the music, but by gee, they drank a lot of beer and they finished up blind in more ways than one. She was a tremendous worker at our monthly dances, and the ladies then, they all put in a tremendous amount of work and they helped our funds considerably. So as I said, I think that was one of the best things Yarra Yarra business and meet the ladies, and rowing in general would have been a very difficult situation in Victorian rowing if we didn't have the women rowing nowadays.
The best evidence at our dances at Henley, 90 gallons of beer.
Mixed drink is quite a bit of it. Stick for your lifetime, and it's really good. Yeah, that's about all I've got to say. Peter Gill, you see here? Yes, Peter's the historian of the club. He's unearthed many a fact about the situation, and he should say a bit more. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks,
Ian Menzies, as you know, was the son of Prime Minister Bob Menzies. He'd come along to our annual meeting. We'd be half tanked by the end of it because he lived in the old Tattersalls Hotel. And we'd often get him to do a response to visiting clubs. In his days, you know, my father, who knows something about public speaking, has 3 rules: get up, speak up, and shut up. But at that stage, if he's jumping up on the table or something, without any significant assistance from government or commercial bodies, surviving for something like 130 years, something like 110 years in our own premises. There aren't a lot of groups in Australia that have survived that long, and a number of sporting clubs have probably never owned their own premises. We've now built 2 boathouses, and we're going forward to a third. Stores, we granted what was called early closing. It's a joke used to say early closing of shops, not of hotels. They decided to form a rowing club and a cricket club, and they went down to the Edwards Boathouse, that was roughly where the Richmond Club is today, and hired boats and space in the Edwards Boat Club. So the following Saturday, they were able to form a rowing club. This is after they finished work at 2 o'clock, I think it was. By 1888, they then moved to Greenlands, another boat builder, another Melbourne boat builder, who was situated on the other side of Prince's Bridge. When they then fixed up the road alignment for St Kilda Road, the Greenland shed had to move, so Yarra Yarra moved down just a bit towards where South Bank is today. We were tenants of Greenland at that stage. By 1904, the club had organised the boathouse on this site. It was quite a grand looking boathouse, including some stained glass windows in the front with YYRC, according to an old photo. Quite a grand opening. We had a lot of visitors, including 2. That boathouse was destroyed by fire. A chap called Cedric Swallow actually died, but the thought is that he had was on the, what was then called Foundation Day, regatta. There's been a regatta down here. He had gone to sleep downstairs, I think.
Drying wind that come in to dry the boats out. And so even when I come here, we had an inch gap between each board.
This